Welcome to another deep dive. You guys, today we're looking into Latin Shot magazine, which I think is such a fascinating concept, an audio magazine specifically for the Latinx community in Canada.
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, an audio magazine, right? Not something you see every day.
It's unusual, right? You don't expect that. But I love the idea of sort of bringing knowledge and culture to people in a way that fits, the modern lifestyle.
Exactly, because who has time to sit down and read a full magazine these days?
Exactly. Everyone's busy on the go, multitasking.
Yeah.
So this idea of having something you can listen to, while you're commuting, while you're working out, it's genius.
Yeah, and it actually caters to different learning styles, too.
Yeah.
Some people are just better auditory learners, so this makes information so much more accessible.
I completely agree. So tell me a little bit more about Latin Shot magazine. What's their mission? What are they hoping to achieve with this?
So their big thing is amplifying Latinx voices. They really want to establish Latinx professionals as leaders in their fields here in Canada.
That's fantastic. And how do they do that through the content itself?
Exactly. So they've got this amazing variety of audio articles covering all sorts of areas. You've got local Toronto news, you've got cultural insights, pieces on health tips, event recommendations.
Wow. So it's really like a comprehensive magazine experience just in audio form.
Yeah, exactly. And they even have things like audiobook reviews, which is so cool. And stuff about traditional cuisine. It's really a way to connect with the culture on so many levels.
I love that. And I think it's so important, right? Because it gives not just the listeners a chance to connect with their culture, but it also gives these Latinx professionals a platform.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a win-win, For the listeners, they're getting this valuable information, these insights. And for the contributors, they have this amazing opportunity to showcase their expertise and become, those thought leaders.
Right. It's like a launching pad in a way.
Exactly. And I think it's particularly crucial because you don't always see Latinx voices being given that kind of platform, especially in mainstream Canadian media.
That's a great point. And I think that's what makes Latin Shot so unique. It's filling this gap and saying, hey, these are voices that deserve to be heard. These are perspectives that need to be shared.
Absolutely. And you know what else I think is really cool about the audio format?
What's that?
It's just so much more personal, right, than reading an article. It's like you're having a conversation with the person.
Yeah, you feel like you're right there with them.
Exactly. And that intimacy, I think, really helps build trust. You're not just reading words on a page.
Mm-hmm.
You're hearing someone's passion, their inflections, their personality.
It creates a connection right away.
Yeah. And that connection, I think, is really powerful for establishing someone as an expert, as a leader.
Absolutely. So walk me through this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I'm a Latinx professional. I've got all this knowledge, all this expertise. I want to share it with the world. How do I get involved with Latin Shot?
So they have this really cool system where they give professionals 10 minutes of airtime to present an audio article, basically.
Okay, so it's like their own little mini podcast episode.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And this is such a great opportunity for anyone, who wants to build their personal brand, become recognized as an expert in their field. It's a chance to reach a wider audience.
And not just in Canada, right? Because we're talking about podcasts here. This could potentially reach people all over the world.
Oh, absolutely. This could be someone's launching pad to international recognition.
That's incredible. I love that. And it really does speak to this idea of lifting up the entire Latinx community, right? Because by highlighting these individual voices, you're also shining a light on the community as a whole.
You got it. And the person behind all this is Mauricio Parada Beltran, the founder of Latin Shot, and his background is actually in podcasting and radio.
So he knows what he's doing.
He totally does. He's worked with stations like Hamilton Latino Radio and Red FM, so he's got this deep understanding of how powerful audio can be.
That's fantastic. And I love that he's already had success reaching a global audience with his podcast, Ruta 89.
Yeah, he's a real trailblazer, really passionate about amplifying those Latinx voices.
That's so inspiring to hear, and I think it leads perfectly to my next question, which is for our listeners out there who are listening to this right now and thinking, wow, this is incredible. How can I be a part of this? What can they do?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is if you are a Latinx professional and you have something to share, this could be your platform.
Yeah. What if your voice was the next one featured on Latin Shot?
Imagine the impact you could have inspiring others, sharing your knowledge and expertise.
And it's so easy to connect with them. You can find Latin Shot magazine on their website, of course, and on all the major podcast platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, even YouTube.
Yeah, and they're on social media, too. You can find them on Instagram at latinshot.ca and on TikTok.
So many ways to connect and learn more.
Absolutely. And I think a final thought to leave everyone with is, what unique knowledge and experience do you have? What could you contribute to the world?
maybe Latin Shot is the perfect place to start sharing your story.
That's a great way to put it. Your voice deserves to be heard.
Absolutely. Everyone has a story to tell.
And who knows, maybe Latin Shot is the key to unlocking your potential.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
See you then.